The Justice Department investigation, which initially focused on Minnesota Governor Tim Walz and Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey, is expanding. The New York Times reports federal prosecutors have issued subpoenas to at least 5 Democratic officials in Minnesota beyond Walz and Frey. 2 people familiar with the matter tell the New York Times that prosecutors are seeking documents from the mayor of St. Paul, Kali Hare, the state attorney general, Keith Ellison, and Mary Moriarty, the Hennepin County attorney. Joining us, MS Now Justice and Intelligence reporter Ken Dilanian and former Assistant Chief Counsel for ICE, Veronica Cardenas. This is an extraordinary step, Ken. Explain to me the justification.
The whole thing is absolutely extraordinary, Katie. The theory of this federal investigation, as I understand it from some reporting, is they're looking at whether these local officials have violated a statute that makes it a crime to conspire to obstruct federal officers in the course of their duty. But what we're talking about here is First Amendment protected activity by public officials, elected officials in the state of Minnesota and by various cities, essentially advising their citizens on how to fulfill their civil rights and how to behave if they're confronted by ICE agents, and denouncing what they see as an invasion of their community. Before we got on the air, I was watching video of a news conference by a local Minnesota police chief who said that even members of his own department, people of color entirely, he said, are being pulled over by masked ICE agents and who are demanding proof of citizenship, and only when they present their police ID are they allowed to go. These were men with guns drawn. This is happening every day around the country, but particularly in Minnesota, and these local officials are trying to put a stop to it. So we have an incredible clash here between the federal government, the awesome power of the Justice Department and the federal government, and local elected officials in a way that we haven't seen ever in the history of this country.
Watch this. Somebody who was working, a probation officer, that what they call a DPO. One day, while we alone during school, she performed oral sex on me. And then from then on, she kind of like forced me to be in a relationship with her. She was sitting on my face, just doing everything that a kid shouldn't be doing.
Everything he's saying is the truth. Illinois juvie is no joke, and everyone knows it. I finally got tired of carrying that stress and found a legal team that's actually standing up for us. They're saying I may be entitled to 6 figures for what happened to me in those halls. I wasn't no saint. I was a tough one back in the day, but I didn't deserve to.
We haven't seen ever in the history of this country.
But it's also Mary Moriarty and the AG Keith Ellison. And what have they done? I mean, they've announced investigations, but they've also been very careful in how they've framed all of this. I mean, they've asked the public for help. They've asked for more evidence, for more information. It's not just the governor and the mayor here, the mayors of both towns, Minneapolis and St. Paul. It's now the DA and the AG taking it to that step. I mean, isn't that even one step further than the public officials?
Yeah, well, the DOJ is seeking evidence that the actions of these people were designed to obstruct federal immigration enforcement. But of course, the thing to remember here is that this may never reach charges, let alone a trial. But it has an effect of chilling and intimidating people. The awesome power of the federal government, grand jury subpoenas landing on people's offices. We don't even know the extent to which career FBI agents and career prosecutors in the U.S. Attorney's Office are even engaging in this. It doesn't take a lot to send out some subpoenas. And that's an interesting question, is who actually at the Department of Justice is putting their names on an inquiry like this, and is it going to go anywhere, or is it just an intimidation tactic?
Let me show you what Governor Tim Walz said about this. He said 2 days ago, it was Alyssa Slotkin. Last week, it was Jerome Powell. Before that, Mark Kelly. Weaponizing the justice system and threatening political opponents is a dangerous authoritarian tactic. The only person not being investigated for the shooting of Renee Good is the federal agent who shot her. Here's Mayor Jacob Frey saying this. This is an obvious attempt to intimidate me for standing up for Minneapolis, local law enforcement, and residents against the chaos and danger this administration has brought to our city. I will not be intimidated. My focus remains where it has always been, keeping our city safe. Veronica, the president took to the podium in the White House today, and the first thing he started talking about after he brandished his book.
Man, these motherfuckers full of derision. You see, they confounded, man. This place about to collapse fast. You understand? You see? Hell yeah, man. You dig? You know what I mean? You see? You know? These wicked assholes. You filthy, nasty, disgusting, demonic ass Babylonians. You Egyptians. We tired of looking at you motherfuckers, man. You see? Real talk, man. We don't care whatever what's going to happen. You see? I say it again. You got GMOs, you got chemtrails. You see? We dealing with the devil, bro. You can't trust this evil, wicked motherfucker. You see? Did you catch that? Did you see that? Believe that? You on your dig, you know what I mean? You see? But when it comes to the so-called black woman, she don't give a fuck, man. She love Esau, Edom, Mr. White Man. You see? See? You can't trust these demon devils, man. We at war. We at war. You see? Especially since Donald Trump got back in office. You see? See? They feel some type of way, man. Red Hebrew Edomite supremacy. You see? I say it again. Red Hebrew Edomite supremacy. You see? They truly believe they're going to set up the MOTB, the mark of the beast. Something underneath, under the skin. We're going to control everybody. You see? You know what I mean? Yeah. They want something inside you. Underneath, under the skin. Clamp a grain of rice on your brain. You see? This is Deuteronomy chapter 30. You see? You on your dig? You know what I mean? Deuteronomy chapter 30 and verse 14. This is Deuteronomy 30 and verse 14. It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 30 and verse 14. It's the book of Deuteronomy, book of Moses. You see, Deuteronomy chapter 30 and verse 14. Deuteronomy chapter 30 and verse 14. But the word is very nigh unto thee, you see, in thy mouth and in thy heart. What is your heart? Your mind. You see, and these filthy, nasty, demonic ass Babylonians, they don't believe in a Heavenly Father. You see, they don't give a fuck about this great gospel. Hell no, man. Did you catch that? Did you see that? Believe that? You see Deuteronomy chapter 30 and 14. But the word is very nigh unto thee. You see who he talking to, man? The children of Israel. You understand? You see in thy mouth and in thy heart. See, you see, what is your heart? Your mind, man. Your brain. You know, you dig? You know what I mean? You see that thou mayest do it. Wow. Did you see that shit? You see? Do what? His laws, statutes, and commandments. Believe that shit. You see? See? To the best of your capability. See? You see? These motherfuckers ain't nothing but devils, man, and demons, man. You understand? You see? It's the book of Deuteronomy chapter 30 and verse. You see? Deuteronomy 30 and verse 14. It's the book of Moses, Deuteronomy chapter 30 and verse 14. But the word is very nigh unto thee. Ooh, you see? Dick sucking ass niggas. Weave head ass bitches. Pants wearing ass bitches. You see? Very stubborn. Heavenly Father gonna fuck your bitch ass up. You see? You know what I mean? Deuteronomy 30 and verse 14. But the word is very nigh unto thee. You see? He not talking to crackers, peckerwoods, honkies, so-called white people. He not talking to them, man. You see? You know what I mean? In thy mouth, you see? In thy mouth and in thy heart, you see? That thou mayest do it. Did you see that shit? You see? See. He said what? See. You on your dig? You know what I mean? See. I have set before thee this day life and good. That's the key. That's the point. You see? He said life and good. He talking about brothers like myself, his prophets, his messengers, his servants. You see? This evil ass place, the spies. You motherfuckers hate. You hate us. Very scornful and wicked. What the fuck? You see? See? You two caught up with Babylon the Great. This filthy, nasty, disgusting ass place. You wanna build, if you will. You wanna build, if you will, in a place that's crumbling every single day. You see, becoming crippled and brittle. See, you see. Yeah, this place is crumbling at a moment's notice, by the minute, by the second, by the day, by the hour. You see? You on your dig? You know what I mean? But you want to remain in a corrupt, filthy, nasty, demonic ass society. You see? Deuteronomy chapter 30 and verse 15. Deuteronomy 30 and 15. It's the book of Moses. You see, Deuteronomy chapter 30 and 15. See, you see, I have set before thee this day life and good. See, you see, and death and evil. Wow, let's read that again. You know what I mean? You on your dig? You see, you know what I mean? See, you see, I have set before thee this day life and good. You see, that's talking about the men of the faith. Don't you hate me, nigga woman, with your funk box, your funky stinking pussy. You see, bitch, your bitch ass wear pants 365 days a year. You understand? You see, you know what I mean? And death and evil. See, you know what I mean? He said life and good and death and evil. You see, you know what I mean? Deuteronomy 30 and verse 15. This book of Deuteronomy, chapter 30 and 15. See, you see, I have set before thee this day life and good. You see, and death and evil. Exactly, man. You understand? You see, wicked ass corruption at an all-time high. Fuck what you think. Did you catch that? Did you see that? Believe that? You see?
Of accomplishments, and that's what it was called, his book of accomplishments over the past year, was to start talking about Minneapolis. And he showed up a bunch of mugshots that he said were of violent criminals that were arrested in Minneapolis. We can't confirm anything that the president said. What does it say to you, though, that the president of the United States came to the podium today to try to reframe the discussion on Minneapolis, to try to get ahead of it, and to try to claim that what's going on there is to protect American citizens from these very violent criminals?
In Congress, I'm working to make life more affordable while fighting for workers and families to earn a living wage. Big corporations are still trying to take advantage of everyday people, but I'll never stop fighting for higher wages and against corporate greed.
Imagine being able to build anything just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44.
It seems to me like he sees the way that the American public is viewing this. This is going to be a stain on our democracy, the way that he's treating non-citizens and citizens alike. And what he's doing is not novel, right? If it's criminals that he's going after, this is not novel. DHS has been doing this. When I was an assistant chief counsel, we did this. We did go after criminals with targeted investigations. What he is doing now is just canvassing entire areas. We heard the story of a U.S. citizen in his house, pulled out without a warrant when he was a citizen all along. And these cases are not the exception anymore. They've become the norm.
Yeah, no, it's a man who was removed from his home in his underwear. An American citizen removed from his home in his underwear. You just heard Ken said talking about the police source that he was saying where the Ken, repeat again what you were saying about police officers being pulled over by ICE.
A local police chief had a news conference today and it said that he's getting complaints from all over the community, including from his own officers, people of color, who are getting pulled over by masked ICE agents, guns drawn, demanding to see proof of citizenship, which of course no one has. You have a driver's license, that's not proof of citizenship. And then only when the officer shows their police ID, the ICE agents wordlessly walk away, as the police chief explained it.
So, Veronica, if they wanted to take legal action against the administration for that, could they?
They could, because the stop, the questioning has to be based on either reasonable suspicion and a stop, arrest, probable cause. So in these cases, what we're seeing is that because ICE has enjoyed, or DHS has enjoyed, warrantless arrests for so long, and the Supreme Court has really lowered the standard of what reasonable suspicion is. It can be based on the way a person looks. We've heard DHS state it's because someone spoke in an accent. It can be because they are standing by a Home Depot or maybe a bus stop, and so they think those are characteristics of people who do not have status. But at the same time, they do not have jurisdiction over citizens. So yes, if they are being unlawfully arrested, unlawfully detained, there are actions that they can take against DHS. But it is very difficult.
You know, we were talking a moment ago about the American citizen who was taken from his home by ICE in his underwear. His name is Scott Tao. He was interviewed about it. Let's listen to what he said.
Suddenly they just handcuffed me. They didn't ask for my ID or anything until after they handcuffed me, and then they asked me, do I have my ID? I go, yeah, it's in the room. And then my daughter-in-law, she tried to get my ID, but they didn't want to see it no more. Yeah, they just took me out there with no clothes on, and then just covered with my grandson's blanket.
So a federal judge has gotten involved here and said that ICE has to, respect protesters. It can't just willy-nilly start pepper spraying people. But what about the forcibly going into somebody's home and dragging them out? Has that been addressed? Veronica?
I don't think that has specifically been addressed. I think that whatever side of the aisle you're on, at the very least, we should, accept that the Fourth Amendment protects unreasonable searches and seizures. Unless there's a warrant, there's no reason why any law enforcement official should be going into a home. There's a few exceptions. None of them are present here. And so this is one of those cases where it kind of, it doesn't really matter what DHS has to say to justify that unlawful entry. That unlawful entry into the home happened. So there should be a recourse there. And the issue, too, with these cases is that Americans are being treated the same way or even worse than people who have committed violent crimes. Like we heard from testimony from arrests happening in Minneapolis. A woman who was a U.S. citizen stated that she was chained by the legs, chained by the arms to her waist, denied water, put in a cell for hours until DHS could verify her citizenship. And so this isn't just about, breaking and entering into somebody's home to unlawfully arrest them, but then all the treatment that comes after that.
All right, Veronica Cardenas, Ken Delaney, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
He's trying to stoke a civil war in this country. It is a disgrace what he's doing in Minneapolis. It is a disgrace what he's doing all across the United States of America, terrorizing communities. It is a disgrace what his Department of Homeland Security is putting out. I mean, these ads, evoking the worst, the 1930s, very intentionally stoking tensions, white supremacy being promoted actively by this administration, the corruption and graft, the likes of which we've never seen in modern history, modern world history. Modern world history. And I can give you chapter and verse on that. None of this is normal, and it cannot be normalized. You've seen some podcasts with other governors where we've publicly been able to engage, comparing notes. Privately, we do that very consistently. Governor Walz and I, back and forth the last few days, the mayor, Minneapolis as well, at all levels. I mean, this is code red in this country. It's not flashy yellows. It's code red in the United States of America. It's the 250th anniversary of our founding fathers this year. We're going to be celebrating in July. Best of the Roman Republic, Greek democracy, co-equal branches of government, the rule of law, not the rule of Don. And so I hope it's done at every single damn person, Republicans and Democrats, what we are up against. We will lose our republic unless we don't speak out.
Essentially, Trump, I think, it feels like, is trying to bring to a head a clash. And we've seen this so often. If he can get protesters angry enough to start attacking the ICE agents, then he gets to the place where he can say, well, clearly there's disorder and a state of emergency. We need riot police. We need federal agents. We need the Insurrection Act. This all plays into the Trump playbook perfectly, which is, look at all this chaos on the streets, something must be done.
It's almost like Donald Trump is trying to engineer the need to have the Insurrection Act imposed. Because if the Insurrection Act is imposed, it means that he has got the right to send federal troops anywhere he likes. He can override any state governor, any city mayor he likes. He puts those troops on the ground. November sees the midterm elections, and it's an elections that the Republicans really can't afford to lose, because obviously if the Democrats have suddenly got control of the House, they're going to launch investigations, the subpoenas will be flying, potentially more indictments. Life is going to become really uncomfortable for the Trump family, for Donald Trump, and for those around Donald Trump. So if you think you can't afford to lose the elections, what you can do is you can't cancel them, but if you've got the Insurrection Act, you could put federal troops in polling stations in certain areas where Democrats have to win and have to win big, and it will drive down turnout. And so when we saw, just as we came into the studio, that Donald Trump was threatening the Insurrection Act and invoking it because of what is happening in Minneapolis, I could not have been less surprised.
Please understand me. I hope you understand me. It's like I've been telling you for a long time. These ICE agents, these mercenaries, this goon squad, these slave raiders, they're trying to provoke you. That's what they're doing. And the power structure is trying to provoke you. And And if you're paying attention, you'll see that there's a campaign running right alongside these escalating ICE attacks. A social media campaign that's trying to incite you to violence, trying to incite you to revolution, to rise up, to fight back, on and on. They hope you will. I'm telling you, they hope you will. That's exactly what they want you to do. You need to understand that when someone provokes you, it doesn't matter in any given scenario, when someone provokes you, they're trying to dictate your options to you. You understand? They're making moves precisely to try to draw you into making the counter moves that they want you to make. And the state is typically, in boxing, you've got strikers and you've got counterpunchers. You have fighters who excel at and who specifically train to be counterpunchers. Means they set you up to throw a punch because they are trained in how to deliver their most powerful punches in that moment right after you throw your punch. And typically the state, like I say, any state is most powerful as a counterpuncher. They're baiting you to throw your punch because they've got that counterpunch already loaded up, ready to go, locked and loaded. And you see again, because you don't have your own genuine foundation. You don't have your own genuine moral structure. You don't have your own genuine frameworks, moral frameworks. So when push comes, the only thing you can think to do is shove. Even with all your turn the other cheek Judeo-Christian rhetoric, the truth is you were raised under the law of the jungle. Even if you live your whole life in denial of this as much as you possibly can, and you play along with the mirage of so-called Western civilization and all of your proclaimed values, but if push comes, shove comes next. You never learn how to not behave like animals in the wild. So if ICE pushes you, if the state pushes you, you feel boxed in, you feel cornered, you're only going to see two options, either lash out or give in, rise up or lay down. This is the binary zero-sum Western primitive thinking. And even if you tell yourself that you're rising up and you're fighting for democracy or for principles or what have you, for Western civilizational principles, truth is you're...
Yeah, you see, you're either gonna rise up or bow down, man. It's just that simple, man. You see, the Heavenly Father got you motherfuckers confused, full of derision, man. You wicked motherfuckers. You see, this is the book of Isaiah 30, Isaiah chapter 30 and verse 3. Isaiah 30 and 3. Isaiah chapter 30 and 3. Therefore, shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame. Wow. You see, who the fuck is Pharaoh? Donald Trump. He the modern day Pharaoh. You see, you know what I mean? Isaiah chapter 30 and 3. Isaiah chapter 30 and 3. Therefore, shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame. You see, if you trust in Esau, Edom, Mr. White Man, you understand? You see, that's your shame. That's your shame. Your demise. You dig? You know what I mean? You see, you know. You dig? You know what I mean? You see, Jeremiah, Salakia, Isaiah chapter 30, you see, Isaiah 30 and 3. Isaiah chapter 30 and 3. Therefore, shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, dick sucking ass niggas, so-called black woman. You see, you love Esau, Edom. a so-called black woman, she is best friends and best lovers with Esau Edom. You see, that's gonna be your shame. That's gonna be your shame. Your ass gonna get burnt up with these fucking serpents, these fucking vipers, these cobras, these pythons, these red dragon demon devils. You see, you know what I mean? And the trust in the shadow of Egypt, your confusion. Did you see that? See, he said, and the trust. See, you know what I mean? And the trust. And the trust in the shadow of Egypt, your confusion. What the fuck? You see? You bitches gonna get fucked up. You hoes, you bitches, you hate the men of your nation. You going down. You going down with the serpent. You see?